Okay, welcome back everyone. Welcome to a new trading week. This is Jeff here with FXMindshift, and this is your Sunday weekly review. So, as you can see from the calendar this week, we've got two big economic drivers that's going to be affecting price. The first one is going to be on Wednesday, September 11th, which is CPI, right? And that's going to be in the New York session at 8:30 a.m. The second one is going to be on Thursday, which is for Euro, which is the main refinancing rate and monetary policy statement, and also, of course, the ECB press conference following that. So those are your two big kind of main events this week. We just came off of NFP Friday last week. We're going to take a look at those moves on the chart in just a second. So why don't we do that? Let's go over to the DXY chart right now on the monthly here. So from the monthly perspective, looking at the top down, you can see from last week there really hasn't been much change. We are still looking at a bearish dollar. However, we did see that we didn't really move outside of a range last week. We're still basically sitting just at these lows here. We're still looking for a move down, of course. We're expecting maybe to get a pullback this week, last week, back up the range a little bit. But we barely got, much movement, out of that range. So still looking for price to come down through these lows here. And this one, of course, below the 99.50 or the 100 figure basically. And then coming down deeper into this, into this range. So I'm going to look for the, price to continue dropping here. Let's go to the weekly chart. Right. And from last week, as you saw, because we had seen price come down and take out this internal low here, let's drop the weekly markups on the chart. Okay, we were looking to see if price was going to hold and continue back up, and it looks like that we did hold. So you can see here, price did stay below the candle, the bullish candle's low here. Right. So last week we did not break the previous week low. We stayed inside of that range here. We also just poked our head just a little bit above up into this imbalance. So I would have liked to seen a little bit bigger retracement, but I think that we will, we might continue to see that this week. It depends on how obviously price moves with the big news that we have, right? Midweek. So Wednesday and Thursday, I want to pay attention to how price moves then and see if we can get a move back up into the range here, further up. We've got some more imbalance here that we can fill, another one up here, right? And we want to see if we will get a confirmation of the 3-bar swing here, right? So if we will get a trade above previous week high going forward, right? So let's drop down to the daily here, right? We'll look at the daily structure and markups. So here is the structure that broke. We saw price come up, and we wanted to see price could reach the OB up here, right, and trade up into the imbalance, maybe try to mitigate the swing low here that we broke on the way down. Didn't quite make it there, but on the push down, you can see this was NFP, obviously, in the last day here, and you can see that NFP did not push price below this low. So we held the low, we came back up. It's looking like we're going to see price maybe come back up, the range here. We're going to look for price to target this high if it does, and trade back into this OB and imbalance like we were originally anticipating. Just maybe a little delayed 1 week basically, right? So the low here, let's drop down to the 4, right? We're probably going to see something here. So NFP moves kind of erratic. Obviously, you can see a big candle wicking both ends of the spectrum here, right? So we can see some bullish candles ending out the week at the end of the day, right? And then we get the last kind of dip into this low here, which did not take out that structure, and then continue to make its way back to the upside. So I'm going to be expecting price to continue bullish, right? Back up into the high here. And you can see here we've got the high and the low, right? And we had come back into the discount, right? Into this OB here, into that little imbalance. We had the reaction, and now we have the push up and the continuation. So we'll look for the continuation here, coming back into the premium of this range here and potentially trading back above that high and going higher. So we'll see if we can get the week to open. I'm going to be looking for price to hold the range of the news candle, right? So you can see the news candle is right here, right? This is going to determine whether we're bullish or bearish going forward, is if we break the high or we break the low, right? If the low holds, then we're likely going to see price continue to push up and, take out the high here and trade further up into the higher time frame range. And that, like I said, we were expecting that to happen last week, but we basically stayed inside that little consolidation range and didn't go anywhere. So this week, maybe with both, CPI and the EU news, maybe we'll see, that kind of push through that we didn't see last week. Right, so we'll see if we get that here. Let's go over to euro. We'll contrast that with what we're seeing on euro dollar. So from a monthly perspective, again, the target is still for us to reach above that 112, 113 mark here, right? To see if we can take out the structure, the high of that structure, and then continue to go up and beyond. We had seen price take out an internal high and retracement. However, the retracement you can see was just very short-lived. We were looking for price to come back down into the monthly OB here, maybe fill in some of this monthly imbalance, right? And we can see that we did dip into it a little bit, but at the end result here, it's just a small candle that's pushing forward here, and we're likely going to see it continue up, or at least that's what it's showing me right now. So if we drop down to the weekly chart and we drop to the weekly markups, right, we can see that's where we saw price break that high. Right, and the weekly candle finishing bearish, looking for price to trade into that imbalance area right here. Okay, as I said, we didn't quite get there, and we started our ascent back to the upside here, right? And if continues this week, we'll see if price will want to hold the low of last week here, right? Come back into the discount somewhere here and continue to draw higher. So if we go to the daily, I think we'll see a better picture of that. Okay, and on the daily, as you can see, coming back into the discount of the range here, we've got the OB and the imbalance, right? We just saw price make that nice swing low, and then the continuation. Reaction here is kind of bearish, so we'll have to monitor this going into this week, the start of the week, and see if we do get a break below the low that we created here. Okay, so if we do that, then I think that there's a good possibility we'll see price continue to come down a little bit further into the range. This will be the lower high of the M, and then we'll see it probably come down into where we have the imbalance in the OB here, right? So we'll see if we get that. The daily, in this case here, the lower end of the target. Okay, if we do see price continue to go through. However, if it doesn't, right, and we see price continue to just follow straight through, then that'll be where we expect the reversal to happen. The news will obviously dictate for us. It's kind of early in the week to speculate. The news doesn't come out until Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll have to kind of reassess later on in the week, right? But we'll see how that goes first. So if we drop down to the 4-hour chart and we take a look at the 4-hour markups, right, what you'll see is that price has given us quite a strong reaction above some liquidity areas up here. So we've taken out this internal high, traded into the imbalance here, and mitigated this consolidation structure here, right? It's a pretty strong move, as you can see, with a big shift to the downside here. Clearly we have grabbed liquidity above this region here, which is nice, okay, and traded into the imbalance, a nice point of interest to be trading into once we do take liquidity. So the highs were taken out there, and then we get this big shift and move down, okay, and obviously that was from NFP, right? So the nice NFP reaction and a continuation down here with a change of character back to the downside. Okay, so what that means is essentially we'll be looking for price to hold the high here, right? And then we're starting to pull back. So the swing low here being formed will pull back into here. We'll make a lower high, and then we'll see price continue down as expected, right? And if that does play out this week, then the target down here will be the draw on liquidity. Seeing if we can draw down below that 110 big figure would be nice, okay? But the imbalance and the low sitting here just at around 110.25 or thereabouts. Okay, let's go over to GU. And GU on the monthly, same as Euro, we saw price come up and take out that internal high there. Here we can see price is trading into a nice monthly POI, and then giving us a reaction. Okay, we have a little kind of bearish move that's happening here, right? We didn't quite get above the previous month's high yet, but we wanted to see if price would want to come back down first into this discount area before pushing back up again. So we're looking for the monthly OB here to be retested, and then seeing if price wants to come down to make that happen. So let's drop to the weekly chart. Okay, and on the weekly you can see where we broke the structure and where we had the pullback. Okay, so we have the 1, 2, 3 bar swing formation here on the weekly. No confirmation yet, of course, right? We're going to have to see how this week plays out. But if price continues to hold below previous week high, then there's a very good chance that we'll see price continue down into this body here, right, in the imbalance here. And then from there, we can see if price will want to continue to hold that weekly structure, which is still bullish, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So there's a possibility here we get that higher low, and then we continue to push through. Okay, and so what we would expect from GU here to open the week, and most likely is that we'll get a retracement into this imbalance area here. Let's drop to the daily for a closer look. Okay, and so last break of structure over here, last swing high that was created, and the pullback. And now you can see here we did make a run for that high here, but we failed to break it. That was NFP. Okay, and even with news, we weren't able to break that structure, so there must have been something here holding it back. And we're likely going to see that being the lower high here, and probably a continuation down to trade back further into this range before continuing up after we get that retracement. All right, so on the 4 hour here, same as EU, you can see the same kind of reaction that we got here after taking out the internal highs, okay, and the extreme OB here. We'll drop to the 4 hour. Okay, you can see here we've got price coming up, sweeping the liquidity here with the internal range into the point of interest, right, and then the big shift and the move down. So the target is still going to be the lows down here. As you can see, we've got these little markers here. That's going to be the draw on liquidity right now. So we've got a marker here just below 131, and we've got a marker here about 130.70. Okay, we've got a nice imbalance area and an OB here for reaction. So these two targets first, right, on our way down. And again, just like we'd expect from EU, we're going to look for something like, price making some sort of retracement, okay, making a lower high, and then the continuation down from there. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Okay, and again, gold not giving us much information this week. From the monthly candle, as you can see, we've held the high, so it doesn't look like we're going to push higher just yet. This might be the high. This might be where price likes to set to reverse, but there's also going to be a lot of people speculating on that as well, which means that there's a chance that we might get maybe a little pushback up and then a move down again. So I would hold tight and see what happens there. Let's go to the weekly. All right, now the weekly tells us that we have a break of structure and price is yet to come back into the discount of the range, right? We've marked off the weekly OB here, right, which is clearly in the discount of the range. Also the imbalance here, right about the halfway point. Okay, and so the question is going to be, are we going to continue to run higher because we've already seen gold now at all-time highs, basically, right? We've never seen gold this high in price before, 2,500. Okay, and the question is just going to be, are we going to see more of it, right? Are we going to see price continue to climb? And if it does, then this weekly OB area here is where price is going to hold, right? We're going to see price bottom out here, create a swing low, and then we'll see price continue to move up. right? The economic drivers this week, CPI and also ECB. Gold is probably going to be more affected by the CPI, obviously because it's, you know, U.S. related, U.S. dollar related. So look for, you know, Wednesday and Thursday to be a little bit cautious trading gold if you are trading gold. Just, you know, look for extremely good confirmations, and you certainly don't want to be trading through the news or when the news releases. All right. So let's drop down to the daily. All right, now if you look at the daily, we've got you know, a consolidation happening here at this high. Price has refused to go higher at this point over here. Okay, and we had one more chance of that happening here, but you can see price has decided not to push forward. So it's a very good chance here that this is going to be peak reversal high or reversal high for this range, and that we'll see price continue to go down. So the next area that we're going to be targeting is going to be the imbalance in OB here at the extreme discount, and seeing if price will hold through that will determine whether or not this is going to remain bullish or bearish, right? If we do see price break through this level here, then that's likely going to be the reversal point, and then we'll see price continue down. Whether or not that happens before the news or after the news, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so finally dropping down to H4. Okay, and we can see here multiple touches to that OB at the top there. Haven't been able to break through, right, which is a sign of weakness here. We're going to see price continue lower, and then taking out the liquidity below all of the structures here, right, which is these equal lows here that we can see. This low over here, this imbalance over here. Lots to target. Okay, so you can see just like in EU, we had that nice little spike up. Right, we took out liquidity above the range. This nice little consolidation here, and then we see a big, you know, move down here, momentum to the move downwards here, and this is where we're going to expect price to continue to move down. So once this low is created, it looks like it's creating it right now. We'll have a lower high here, right, or at least that's the expectation, and then the continuation down. Okay, and so that is going to target the lows down here, 2470, or just below 2500. Okay, and then we're going to see how far down it goes if it does break the structure up here. Okay, and that'll be for gold. We'll see if we get some setups from that gold pullback if it does give us that. Moving on to NASDAQ, last but not least. Okay. So from a monthly perspective, we have just made the swing high, right? Now we're seeing if price will want to pull back into the range, and if it does, how far, right? The monthly OB here is going to be as soon as, you know, we break that level there, that's going to give us basically the go-ahead, the confirmation that that's going to be our peak reversal, and we're likely going to see price continue down from here, right? So let's drop down to the weekly chart, see what that looks like. Okay, now I originally had, you know, for the start of last week, I wanted to see if price wanted to come back up into this area up here. Okay, obviously we can see the prices run far away from the area, so I'm going to be giving up on that idea this week because it seems that this was enough, right? Wasn't really sure if that was going to be enough. You know, this little wick here above, that counts as, you know, a rate on the stops above there, so that probably set this off along with or coupled with the NFP news, right? And you can see that we got this big bearish candle now here. So we're going to look for price to run out the lows, right? The big one being this one down here, just below 17K. And then, of course, this intermediate one here, 17 and change, right? So the lower high that's being formed here right now, if this continues to trade straight through, right, then we're going to get ourselves basically a head and shoulders pattern, right? We've got a peak formation here, and then we'll be looking for price to now retrace and go down. Okay, let's drop to the daily. All right, and on the daily, as you can see here, the reaction that we got from the gap level and the OB here is quite strange. No, we've got basically the swing high up here, right, and then price continuing to push further down. So this is where we are expecting price to now run through the low down here, 17K, right? That's like I said earlier, and the low down here. So basically the intermediate, low down here, and then the bigger, the swing low down here at the below the 17K mark. Right, we've got bearish momentum, lots of it. Okay, you can see big bearish candles leaving behind imbalances. Okay, so I'm going to be looking to see if price will want to pull back, and then continue to run out this low. Right, so the target and the draw on the liquidity this week will be to run out that low, and eventually this one down here as well. All right, let's take a quick peek at the 4-hour chart and markups. Okay, and so as you can see from the H4, the area which we had price expecting to make a turnaround, or make a continuation rather, has made a turnaround, right? So we have our classic, kind of support turned resistance scenario here. Okay, price coming back up to mitigate after we break through that level, right? Level of consolidation. You can see mitigation here and here, and now we've got another massive drop. Moving away from that peak formation and continuing down the range. Okay, so looking at the lows down here as the final target, of course, we'll see how the news affects this. Could be, kind of CPI, I know will affect it, right? ECB, affects it indirectly as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how it ends up, so that we can see how it's going to move the next week, right? This right here, the shift down, the continuation, right? So we're going to be looking for price to, pull back, of course. And then we're going to look for a reaction at any of the OBs here, filling in the imbalances. We wanted to see it creating a lower high here and then continuing down through to those levels we discussed. Okay, however, if there is no pullback and it just goes straight through, that's also a possibility as well. We'll have to kind of monitor that as the week goes. And before and after our red news events on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so that is pretty much the rundown for this week. Last week was pretty much a standstill. The price stayed inside of a very tight range. And when that happens, it's going to be, it's meaning that we're gearing up for a big, massive trend move, coming up here in the fall, right? And if you guys remember last week, we finished our break period. We will be resuming our activities and everything now, starting this week. So for those of you that were anticipating the start, this week is going to be, everything is going to be back on schedule this week for our regular members. If you guys are interested in joining the VIP, there's going to be a link in the description below. Join for free first. Obviously, you guys are going to get your first crack at these weekly reviews. I post these in the free member content for everyone first, before I upload these up into YouTube. So as a free member, you will get the updates in these videos first. But if you want to go a step further, and obviously throughout the week, I do the daily breakdowns and I go down into the lower time frames with the trade setups and what we're looking for throughout the week. Okay, and that's of course for the VIP students. So if you guys want that experience, if you guys want to look at the VIP plans, there's a link in the description below to join that, and that is certainly an option for you guys, for those that want to take it a step further. All right, that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop some comments below in the video if you need to. Otherwise, good luck with your trades, and we will see you guys all on the next video.